Hey, it's Amy Shaw, the Soul Whisperer here. I wanted to make a quick video talking about how synchronicity is the language of the spirits. I recently watched a brief video on a different channel, and the YouTuber was talking about how synchronicities don't really exist, that they are just coincidences. So I don't want to divert the topic too much, but I do just want to say that I have made a video in the past about atheism and Christianity or religion being basically two sides of the same coin, and that is the truth. Atheists, they worship rational materialism, and their Bible is the scientific method. So they do not think that they're religious, and they pride themselves on being free of all that, sort of silliness, all that magical thinking. But the reality of it is that they're so dogmatic about their rational materialism that they really box themselves in and refuse to believe or consider anything beyond their rational materialism. So in a lot of ways, they're very fundamental and rigid, in the same ways that, some religious folks can be. So, you don't necessarily have to believe that synchronicities exist. You can call them coincidences if you want, but, synchronicity is the language of the spirits. And the interesting thing about that, and I'll give you just a little example, about a year or so ago, I did a little experiment with manifesting in the law of attraction in terms of money. So I went kind of on a little money hunt and was cataloging each day that I would find money. I haven't actually found any money in a little bit of time, but today I actually found this dime on the ground. Now, if you were to have been with me when I found this dime, you would have saw me bend over and pick it up, and I would have giggled and said, "Oh, that's a synchronicity," and you would have thought, okay, she just found a dime. What's the big deal? Lady's crazy, little crazy. It's just a dime. I find money all the time, right? Well, no, because this actually represents a personal message from the spirits. And I know it's really hard to understand this, and I know to some people I'm going to sound like I'm crazy. But the truth of it is, in that experiment that I did with the law of attraction and manifesting money, the way that it's worked out, there was a very certain sort of connection and message that came through that experiment where I was finding dimes. I started out finding pennies, lots of pennies, and then it was dimes, and the most peculiar places too. I mean, a lot of them weren't even on the ground. They would be like on the ledges of countertops out in public, and just these very odd places, unusual places where you wouldn't even ordinarily find dimes. And I started finding dimes everywhere. And it was during a period of time where something specific was going on in my life, and it was sort of like an aha moment for me, where a very clear message from spirit was coming through regarding, the 10 spot, the little tiny dime. And so I haven't found any coinage in several weeks. And to find the dime today, for me, this is evidence of a synchronicity. It's the spirits letting me know that they're here beside me, and here's my little gift, my dime for the day. So now, if you're an awakened person and you've been doing spirit work or connecting with your guides for quite a while, synchronicities don't seem like any big deal. It's just another day in the neighborhood, right? We all have them. We experience them on a regular basis. We understand that it's our individual, unique spirit language, and it's kind of like an inside joke. It's really hard to explain it to somebody who's not on the inside. That's very much how synchronicities work. They're sort of like inside jokes, in a sense, or insider communications. And they're really difficult to try to explain in any logical way to people that aren't privy to that experience. So if you're an experienced, spirit worker and you've had lots of synchronicities, and this message isn't for you, because you're going to sit there and go, of course, that's obvious. Yes, we all know this, Amy. Why are you telling me this? Well, because I have had people come to me seeking help, and they're more newly awakened, and they haven't connected with their guides yet, but they have a desire to. They've come to understand that there's a spiritual realm. They don't know how to access it, and they want to. They're seeking to. And they're experiencing synchronicities. I mean, they can be kind of freaky, or they can be kind of scary. scary, and seem odd. So I've had people say to me, well, oh, I thought this happened and this happened, and this song came on when I was in the store, and I thought it was talking to me, and they feel like they're going crazy, or they feel like they're psychotic, or because they try to tell people around them, and they look at them weird, because it is such an inside thing that people on the outside don't know or don't understand, and then they equally don't know how to respond. They're just like, yeah, okay, little cuckoo. So if you're that person where you're newly awakened and you're experiencing synchronicities, I just want to encourage you that when you are experiencing that's a real thing. It is really occurring, and those are the spirits trying to let you know that, yes, we're here and we are ready to make contact with you. So the more you start paying attention to these synchronicities, the more of them will occur. So if I can encourage you to lean into that, to not be afraid of it, to not like psych yourself out that you're going crazy. People aren't going to understand you. That's just a fact of it. Just like people don't understand an inside joke. When you're in your little huddle with your friends and everybody's laughing and other people don't understand the joke and they're looking at you like, okay, what was so funny about that? It's the same thing. People aren't going to understand you. They don't get the joke. They don't get the inside message. It's for you. It's meant for you. It's your particular spirit language. And so you treasure that. You keep it to yourself and just assure yourself you're not going crazy. When those synchronicities happen, I like to journal them as much as possible, especially at the beginning. I mean, I don't do it so much now because they happen so much that it's just like, oh, okay, it's an everyday occurrence for me now. When it first started, when I first became aware that the synchronicities were actually spirit language, that the spirits were trying to contact me, and support me and encourage me and let me know that they were there and had my back, I started journaling, and I would put as much detail as I could, so that I could go back later and sort of weave in and see the different threads. And so I just want to encourage you that you might consider doing that. It's how you kind of learn your spirit language, and you definitely learn how to tell the difference between coincidences and synchronicities. Synchronicities, I think, if I had to sum them up and say how they are different than coincidences, is they feel incredibly intimate. They just sort of touch you in a place that a coincidence doesn't. A coincidence will sort of just make you shrug your shoulder and go, oh, yeah, okay, right? But a synchronicity is like a wow. And, some people say there isn't any such thing as coincidence, that it's all synchronicity. I don't believe that that's the case. I do believe that coincidences do occur, but I also believe that a lot of coincidence truly is synchronicity, and people just aren't paying attention, that they don't realize that that's the message. When you're not listening, the spirits will, graduate with increasing measure to try to get your attention. So if you can lean into that, learn how to pay attention to the subtlety of it, and journal it if you can. That helps to sort of get in touch with it and invite more of it into your life. The spirits get super excited. They're like, yay, we got somebody paying attention, and they'll give you more of it. So lean into it, have fun with it, and I love you guys so much. As always, thank you for watching my channel. I appreciate you so much. You can leave your questions or comments down below. If you want to get a hold of me, you'll find a lot of different ways on my channel to get a hold of me. I am in shamanic practice here in the Austin, Texas area, so if you're in Austin, Texas, and you want to have a private session with me, please get a hold of me. I would be honored and love to meet you. And I also do distance work, so if you're not in the Austin, Texas area or can't get to the area, reach out to me, because I am more than willing to work with you in distance as well. So have a great day, and I love you guys so much, and keep celebrating those synchronicities. That's the champagne of life, so enjoy.